Hey y'all, welcome back to the channel. I just wanted to touch on a recent conversation from the Joe Budden Podcast that really struck a chord about the passing of the legendary Ananda Lewis. Ananda Lewis, the former MTV VJ and talk show host, has died at 52. Her cause of death? Lewis was battling stage 4 breast cancer. She was diagnosed with stage 3 breast cancer in 2020, which later advanced to stage 4. She chose not to have a double mastectomy instead of choosing less invasive treatments, including chemotherapy and other alternative therapies. Her sister announced her death on June 11th, 2025, stating that she passed away peacefully, surrounded by her family. She expressed a wish to see her son's middle school graduation, which she did just hours before her death. Lewis had also discussed the importance of regular mammograms and early detection in her final years. So first and foremost, rest in peace to Ananda Lewis. The pod crew spoke highly of her impact, her accomplishments, and what she meant to the culture overall. In the clip I'm about to play, Marc Lamont Hill asked Melyssa Ford, who's active in women's health, for her thoughts, and that sparks a whole convo about breast cancer, Ananda's journey, the broken healthcare system, and the impossible choices parents face when dealing with a terminal illness. Take a listen.
Mel, you do a lot of work around women's health, and of course, Hot and Bothered covers these things. Is there anything we can learn from this?
So Ananda Lewis was very vocal about the fact that she was very hesitant to get mammograms. And so the average age that a woman is supposed to start getting mammograms is 40 years old, and it's an annual screening that you're supposed to get. There are some women, and Ananda was one of them, who are fearful of the amount of radiation, that is involved in the screening process. But the reality of the situation is that when you stand in front of a microwave, you're exposed to radiation. When you put your phone up to your head, you're exposed to radiation. And so by the time she was 47, and also she was of increased risk because I believe that her mom had breast cancer. This is something that I've been told. So she avoided getting them. And when she was about 47 years old, during a self-examination, that's when she started to find lumps. And so then she went to try to, to get a diagnosis, and she found out that she was either in stage 2. I want to say it was stage 2. Stage 2, breast cancer is it's a precarious form of cancer. It can really go either way. But most of the medical community feels like this is the point in which you should start doing conventional forms of treatment, whether that's chemotherapy, radiation, et cetera, a combination of the two, whatever the case is. And Ananda did not want to do that. But in addition to that, more importantly, actually, is the fact that she ran into financial issues when it came to treatments, which really is like an indictment on our healthcare, system.
For sure.
But we all know this. But it's really, really sad to see somebody succumb to cancer based on a myriad of different things, but one of those factors being that she didn't feel like she could afford the treatments. The crazy part is if she had done a GoFundMe, she's so loved. So many people would have donated to that, but then there's pride and, not wanting to.
And part of it was she said she wanted to do homeopathic stuff. She wanted to do natural medicine.
She did.
Even in stage 4.
Yeah, she did. And that's a personal choice. A couple of her girlfriends, Sarah Sidner, who has also been documenting her breast cancer journey, they were talking about it on ABC News, and she read one of her girlfriends, what's her name? Stephanie Alam.
All CNN people, yeah.
Yeah, CNN. So she read her last text that said, my feeling on this. We all go. These bodies are on loan and must be returned. We come in love and choose to leave with love as well. I love you, my wonderful lifelong bestie of besties. And then Alam added, I love my girl, but she was hard-headed. She wanted to do things her way. So my advice is just to if you have the opportunity to go get screenings, mammograms, especially if you are of increased risk, you got to get them. You have to get them. And also, I understand and appreciate that people want to do things, you know, they may want to do things a little bit holistically, but you can't really challenge conventional methods at that point, especially when you have a young child, especially when you're a single mother and you have primary custody of that kid. Her child is like 4 or 5 years old. At that point, I feel like a lot of your desires or wants don't really kind of belong to you. You know, you have to think about your kid first. That's just my thoughts.
Rest in peace.
No, you don't.
What? What?
I mean, I don't know if I want to go.
I threw the ball up. Let's go. Let's go.
Hey, you threw that ball up. She ran to the concession stand to go eat. you threw that. You did throw it in there. You took 2 sips of tea. This nigga went right to the bathroom. Listen, I don't know that's true. I just don't. I don't know if I'm willing to stand on the ledge.
I'm not. I'm with you though. I agree with you, but I ain't really well.
Let's go.
No,
You gigi, nigga. I'm going down on my belief system, whatever that is.
Sure.
And I think you have the right
I think
to.
everybody
Honestly.
has the right to go out on their own belief system.
There's a lot of people that also don't like the, also knowing people that have suffered from cancer. Like, that shit is, the treatment and that shit is
I understand.
fucking joke.
I watched my mom go through 2 different forms of cancer. She survived one, and she died from the next one. I totally understand. And I totally understand that sometimes conventional methods don't fucking work because my mom died because things did not work. What I do know is that because I am of increased risk for colon cancer, because that's what my mother died of, I am so diligent about going to get my colonoscopies.
That's good.
I literally have one scheduled in a month because I am diligent about that.
The question is there anything wrong if you don't want to do that?
Now, that last question from Marc Lamont Hill, is there anything wrong if you don't want to do that? That really hits. He's talking about those aggressive treatments, the toll they take, and whether choosing a different path is something we should respect, even if it's not what we would do. The crew goes on to share their thoughts from different angles, some practical, some emotional, but all very real. And honestly, this is the kind of conversation that doesn't have a right answer. It's about survival, dignity, belief systems, the systems we're trapped in, and for parents, it's about legacy and what we leave behind. So let me ask you, if someone chooses peace over treatment, is that selfish? Or is it more selfish to ask them to keep fighting for us, even if they're tired? What do you think? Drop your thoughts in the comments. If you like the video, go ahead and like the video. Make sure you subscribe, all that good stuff, and I'll see you next time. This has been Elliot in the Room.
The Elliot in the Room.